Hey guys, we're just getting started on the Hyline rear bumper install this morning on the TJ. Just thought I'd show you a little bit about it. Here's our old bumper, which, by the way, if you've got any interest in it, it's going to be up for sale. Came off a 2004 TJ, but it'll fit any of the TJ models. Here's what the new Hyline looks like so far. These are made in America, I believe. They come out of Ohio. Seem to be great quality. We just got it on. It's kind of tough as a one-man job, but a couple large jack stands, it's doable. Got two 5/8 bolts right here. I'm still working on getting in, and then there will be two more that run up in here, all 5/8. The one on the top right here has the rear body mount right next to it, so it can be pretty difficult to get to. The only way is just using an open-ended wrench, so it's a little slow going. Now that we've got the bumper itself installed on the Jeep, it's time for the tire carrier. This is how it came, straight from Hyline. This is obviously all your hardware, the swing out arm itself, and then this is the bracket that's adjustable that the tire mounts on, and there's several different stud configurations in here that fits different wheels. So we're about to get started on this. It's supposed to take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so we'll see how it goes. There's a list of tools it says you need: 13mm socket, 3/4 inch socket, 1/2 inch socket, 9/16 socket, and a Torx bit. There's your wrenches. It says you need some sort of hammer, grease gun, lithium grease. I assume that's for the swing out arm where it mounts onto the bumper. And then wire cutters, which we do not need because our Jeep did not even come with a third brake light, so we don't need that. These steps are just ensuring that you have the correct bumper, which we do. So it looks like the first step for us is going to be installing this grease fitting on the swing out arm with a 7/16. So here we have our fitting. Looks like it's just going to thread right into this bumper and then snug up with a 7/16. Grease fittings in. That's as far as we can get it. It said it's got tapered threads, so it will not screw all the way in. So this is as snug as we care to go. On to step 4, which looks like it's putting the tailgate bracket on the Jeep itself. I assume you just want this to fit right over this vent, about as low as it can go. Alright, what we have so far is our new Hyline tailgate support bracket mounted to the OEM tailgate. And we've got one end of the rod bearings on, which connects this to the swing out gate itself. That's why when you open this latch, the swing out carrier goes with it. So it said to keep this loosely attached. I assume we've got to get some alignment blocks in here so it'll close properly. So on to the next step. What we've got now is we're installing the alignment block on the arm itself that swings out from the bumper. There's like a cylindrical shaped arm that tucks into this, and that's really what seats it and keeps it from rattling. There was two different block sizes. There was this one, which is a lot shallower, keeps it closer to the tailgate, and then there was a larger one that would keep it further away. And since we want a slim look, I'm assuming we go with this one. And we've got two 5/16 inch bolts that we're installing here. This kind of just sits up in this corner. We'll go from there. Next step is to install what they call the pivot pin, which the arm swings out on. It's got a keyed end on one end and a smooth round end on the other. The keyed end slides into the bumper. I don't know if you can see, there's kind of a key notch down there that this goes into. So we're literally just going to drop this down in there, get it lined up, and you'll feel it kind of click in. Next we'll take one of our brass washers, slide it down on here. And we'll get the grease gun and get it greased up. So we've got a thin layer of grease spread over the pivot pin now. This next step is to install the arm. So we've got the swing arm on, we've got the brass washer on top installed, we've got the cap and the little hex head bolt here. All that's pieced together well. So the instructions tell you to run a bolt up kind of similar to this one from the bottom right here, and it's just a big ugly silver normal grade 8 bolt. And it kind of sticks out right here a little bit and looks funny, so we're actually painting ours over here. Just put a quick coat of black on it. Hopefully it'll kind of blend in with the bumper well. So while we're waiting on that to dry, we can go ahead and put the other end of these rod connector bearings on. So there's 2 brackets here on the swing out arm that this mounts on. The bottom one is for no body lift. And the instructions say if you've got a 2-inch body lift or more, use the upper. So we definitely do not have a body lift. I can't stand body lifts, so we're going with the lower mounting point. All right, so what we're at now, we've got the bottom bolt run up through the bumper into the alignment pin here. Everything's tightened down from the bottom and from the top. Our arm swings out pretty smooth. Everything seems to be working good. We've got our alignment block here lined up just to where this thing shuts. So we've got a pretty good alignment right now. I imagine this will sag a little bit when we put the tire on, so we may have to drop that down a smidge. But for now, everything looks pretty good. All right, what we've got going on now, we're installing the lug studs onto the tire carrier piece itself. The instructions say you can do this several different ways. One way, just bashing them in with a hammer. I don't know how you'd ever get these in straight by doing that. So what we've got is a little stud installer tool just from the local O'Reilly's. Pretty much sits down over top of these studs, and then you take a lug nut, run it up on there, and because this is tapered, it slowly pulls that stud into place. So this one's in. We're about to do it to this one over here. And then we've got one more that'll go right there. And these 3 holes fit the TJ bolt pattern, which is 5 by 4.5. I obviously skipped a couple steps here. There's no point in you guys sitting here watching me trying to lift a 35 up onto this. It's the only time I'm glad I don't have 37s. But anyway, this is the adjustable tire carrier that mounts to the tire that we were just looking at on the bench over there. Got all 3 studs pressed in. Lug nuts mounted up fine, everything lined up. They tell you to loosely attach these 4 bolts that attach the tire carrier piece to the swing arm. So we left these loose, and then we mounted the tire up here. So we picked the tire up, got it on the Jeep. You want this to kind of butt up. I know that's sideways, I apologize. You want that to kind of butt up against this arm. So we've got a little adjustment to do. We're gonna run it in just a little bit, because if that tire is flush with that arm, it keeps it from vibrating and bouncing. Other than that, everything's looking good. Check this out. Just about perfect. tire resting against the arm. Doesn't look like we need much adjustment on our adjustment block here. This thing just stands out to me already. It just screams quality. All we've got left is to put our little connector rod in that attaches it to the swing gate of the Jeep. So we've got our connector arm on. Just a couple of fun facts about this. One of these is a left-hand thread, one of them's a right. So you thread this silver connector rod onto whichever one's on the tailgate, and then slowly screw it into this one. And you want this to be just tight enough to where this sits flush inside of our alignment tube. So we're looking good. I'm just gonna go back and re-torque everything, make sure we're good to go. Then we're about done with this install. For some reason, the bottom mounting location that says it's not for a body lift was not working too well. I wasn't happy with the angle of our connector rod here to the tailgate. I'm not sure why that is, because we for sure don't have a body lift. Maybe to do with where I liked having this bracket mounted on the tailgate, but you couldn't drop it much lower without hitting this vent. I wanted this as low as possible to not interfere with the top or anything. So I'm not sure why that is, but we moved our mounting location for the connector rod on this side to the body lift location up here, and it seems to be at a lot happier of an angle. I'm sure if we moved this bracket up even more, it would be perfectly flush, but it works fine how we've got it now. Like I said, I don't want this bracket any higher. So I'm not sure the reasoning behind this, but everything works good, closes right, so we're just gonna run with it. Last thing, don't forget to pump a little bit of grease into your new grease fitting here. And then that wraps up the install on the Hyline TJ rear bumper with tire carrier. Like I said, this thing to me just screams quality. From all the parts that came with it to ease of installation, everything fit together really well. The only hang up we had, like I mentioned, was for some reason we had to run the connector rod on the body lift setting. Again, I'm not sure why that is, but it seems to work fine. Got us a little bit of grease in here. Opens and closes perfect. It looks great on the Jeep. One of the main reasons I wanted the Hyline rear bumper is just how clean it looks from behind. There's no extra tubing all up in here on the swing gate. It's just that one arm that comes out and then kind of 45s up, and that's it. So really it gives the appearance that the spare tire is just kind of floating there, which looks really good to me. You can see more of the tailgate and more of the paint on the Jeep. Looks so good. Hope this video helped you guys out just a little bit installing the Hyline Off-Road TJ LJ tire carrier with rear bumper. Thanks for watching again, guys. If you found the video informative or entertaining, please give it a like. Consider subscribing to the Everyday Off-Road channel, and we'll see you next time.